Hi people, it's me, Anja. My pronouns are she and her, and welcome back to my channel for a new recent reads video. I've spent the past few days being sick, so in that time, I have read a couple of books. So anyway, the first book on this list is called The Wrong Way Home. This story is a middle grade contemporary following a young main character who's thrust into the real world after growing up in a cult the majority of her life. And I love books like this, not specifically about cults, because cults scare me, as they are supposed to, but I mean like the fish out of water trope, questioning everything that you thought you knew about life. That stuff is intriguing to me. Anyway, the plot was so engaging and so well done. The high stakes were really conveyed really well. The characters were so well developed and so distinct. They each felt so authentic. The story itself is so emotional and it's so well done. I knew that I was going to really like this book because I trust the author's reputation so much. And her previous two books I rated 4 out of 5 stars. So I'm so glad that I also rated this book 4 out of 5 stars because I just really enjoyed every single second of it because it was absolutely so good. So anyway, with that said, I rated this book 4 out of 5 stars and I would definitely highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called Every Time You Hear That Song. This story is a YA contemporary alternating between modern day and the past. And in modern day, it follows a bisexual main character who is going on a scavenger hunt left behind by her favorite celebrity, and in the past timeline follows said celebrity in her own time, if that makes any sense. This book is absolutely so good and it's so well done. First of all, I really enjoyed how the dual timelines worked together, even though at times I was more interested in the past than I was in the present, but I really appreciated how both timelines could stand on their own while also being connected with each other. The characters were so well developed and so distinct. The queer representation was absolutely so awesome and it felt so good both in the past as well as in the present. This book is absolutely so awesome and so well done. The plot is so engaging and so intriguing. I actually had really low expectations for this book prior to its coming out, just because the author previously wrote this queer sci-fi book last year that I DNF'd, so I wasn't really expecting to rate this book 4 stars, but I absolutely did because I absolutely really enjoyed it. So anyway, with all that said, this book was really good and I would definitely highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called Kyra Just for Today. This story is a middle grade contemporary following a young main character who's navigating with the fact that her mother is an alcoholic. This story is absolutely so fantastic and it's so good. First of all, the characters are so well developed and so distinct and they felt so authentic. And this book is so good. The plot is so engaging and so intriguing. The family dynamics felt so special and so well done. The friendships felt so realistic and so wholesome and just so good. The idea of feeling responsible for somebody else's mistakes and having to pick up the pieces that they left behind, even though logically they are the responsible party for everything that they've done, is so incredibly relatable to me in some ways. I don't know if that makes any sense at all, but basically this book is really good and I just really enjoyed it. I also could relate to the fact that in middle school your friendships change when your friends make other friends that aren't you and you don't feel as connected to them anymore. I don't know if that makes any sense either, but anyway, the point is I really enjoyed this book so much and it was so good. So anyway, all that to say, I rated this book 4 out of 5 stars and I definitely really enjoyed it, so I would definitely highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called The Last Love Song. This book is a YA contemporary book that has been marketed as a queer Mamma Mia retelling, even though it really isn't. Even though, for me, I don't fully understand the role or the context behind that movie because I haven't actually seen it. Well, I actually DNF'd it because I realized that I hated the songs, and I can't enjoy a musical movie if I don't like the songs right off the bat. Anyway, the point is, this book follows a bisexual main character who's on a scavenger hunt that was left behind by her late mother as she decides what to do with her future. You know what I mean? Anyway, the point is, I didn't like this book as much as I was hoping to. Actually, that has an implication that I had really high expectations for this book and I didn't. I figured that all of my friends that were clamoring for this book prior to its release were hyping it up because they know the author personally, so that makes them all extremely biased. Whereas for me, I was excited for this book because a queer mama Mia retelling sounds kind of okay. And that's exactly what this book was. It was kind of okay. The writing felt so, simplistic. I didn't really love, the dual timelines because it didn't really feel even. Whereas in every time you hear that song, the timelines felt like it was half in the present and half in the past. Whereas in this book, it felt like it was 2/3 in the present and then 1/3 in the past. And her mother as a character felt really underdeveloped, but so did her as a character as well. Speaking of things that were underdeveloped, the sapphic romance felt really conditional, and they really didn't have a lot of chemistry to begin with either. But I will say, the ending felt sweet, especially with the explanation behind the title of the book, too. I don't know if anything I'm saying makes any sense, but basically overall, this book felt really short, so it felt really underdeveloped in many, many ways. And also, this is kind of a spoiler, but it felt like a big plot hole that she couldn't really Google facts about her mom, despite the fact that her mom was considered a celebrity. You know what I mean? How come she never found out how her mom actually died? And, what illness did her mom even have? You know what I mean? Anyway, all that to say, I rated the book 3 stars, so take that as you will. The last book on this list is called The Secret Language of Birds. This story is a middle-grade contemporary following a young main character who finds an endangered bird at her summer camp. And technically this book serves as a companion novel to Song for a Whale, but it follows a completely different main character. And it's been so long since I've read Song for a Whale, honestly, maybe 3 to 4 years, that I didn't quite remember this character from that book. But anyway, the point is, this book was really, really good, and I really, really enjoyed it. I rated it 4 out of 5 stars because this story felt so wholesome and so sweet. I love it when main characters are fascinated by something, whether that be a hobby or music or animals or whatnot. I don't know. I just think it's so cool when characters are so specially interested in something or fascinated by something, whether it be a phenomenon or anything at all. Anyway, the point is, I just loved learning about birds in this story through her eyes, basically. The characters felt so authentic and so well done. The friendships were so lovely and so sweet and so wholesome. The plot was so engaging and so well done. This book is really, really good. And I've also noticed recently that I really enjoy camp settings for the same reasons that I enjoy school settings, because it kind of eliminates parents from the story. And I don't know why specifically I enjoy that. But anyway, overall, this book was really, really good, and I really, really liked it. So with that said, I would definitely highly, highly recommend it. So in conclusion, today is April 11th, and I've already read 15 books this month. But also, I'm sick, like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, which I don't know if that's going to help or hinder my reading month. But anyway, in conclusion, if you enjoyed this video, please don't hesitate to give it a big thumbs up. Comment down below the cactus emoji if you made it all the way to the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel if you're new. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye!